Welcome to Insight Wire News, where we bring you the latest updates and in-depth coverage on the most pressing global events shaping today's world. Stay informed with timely, accurate reporting on political, economic, and social developments. Today, President Trump announced that trade negotiations between the U.S. and Canada are officially over. The president made the decision to cut off talks with a major buyer of American goods. The president's discontent. The primary reason for the abrupt decision is Canada's new digital services tax, which President Trump has condemned as a direct and overt attack on the United States. He further stated that the U.S. will inform Canada of the new tariff rates they will be facing in the next week. Stock market response. As expected, the news of the halted trade talks had an immediate impact on the financial markets. The Dow, S&P, and Nasdaq all dropped momentarily following the announcement. However, there was a swift rebound, with Nasdaq and S&P closing at record highs. Despite ongoing tariff disputes, the market continues to show resilience. Political analysis. Joining the conversation are Karen Finney, former communications director for the Democratic National Committee, and Michael Singleton, a Republican strategist. Analyzing the situation. Michael, on the one hand, Canada imposed this tax, and we know President Trump tends to retaliate when he perceives an attack. However, the markets are bouncing back. The president still faces questions about consumer confidence and whether the country is on the right track.
Michael Singleton's insight. I think the market is headed in the right direction. I understand why the president might be frustrated with Canada's new tax, but we also have to recognize that Canada might want to protect its growing tech sector. Ideally, we would see Canada collaborating more with the U.S. on tech, like buying chips from NVIDIA rather than Chinese companies like Huawei.
Canada's digital tax controversy. Canada's newly announced digital services tax, which is set to take effect in June 2022, targets major American companies including Apple, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. Karen Finney's perspective. Forget the politics of Trump. Forget that he's a Republican. Shouldn't any American president be concerned about how these taxes will affect major companies that drive the economy? Of course they should. But the issue here is the deal-making process. The 90-day trade deal deadline wasn't realistic, and now we find ourselves in this difficult position. The president's hardline stance on tariffs and the ongoing market volatility highlights the uncertainty that many are feeling. It remains to be seen how further threats or announcements will impact on the market and the broader economy. A 90-day trade pause was established previously, but with just over 12 days left, it's unclear whether the administration will meet its goals. The president has indicated that the U.S. will take swift action, potentially sending out letters to other countries detailing what tariffs they will face to do business in the U.S. The president is acutely aware of market fluctuations and their potential impact on public opinion. However, he believes this hard stance is necessary to establish a baseline for international trade. It's an attempt to set clear expectations rather than negotiating piecemeal with individual countries. Negotiating with over 200 countries can be challenging, and while there have been some deals, the administration has clearly fallen short of its initial goals. The idea was to finalize 90 deals in 90 days, but as of now, only a few deals have been concluded. If you find this analysis insightful, we encourage you to like this video and subscribe to Insight Wire News. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on the latest developments and get access to more in-depth reports on key global issues. Your support helps us bring you the most accurate and timely news. Now let's return to our coverage. While President Trump has been aggressive in his foreign policy approach, launching military actions such as against Iran without involving troops, the market has shown resilience in response. Republicans are starting to feel more confident, especially as stock indices hit new highs. Despite the positive market performance, polling data from sources like Quinnipiac shows that President Trump's approval ratings are slipping on key issues like the economy and immigration. Public dissatisfaction with his policies on military involvement and immigration reform presents an opportunity for the opposition. President Trump has immediately ceased trade talks with Canada and plans to impose new tariffs on Canadian goods. CNN's Kristen Holmes provides the details. Kristen, why is President Trump ending these trade negotiations so suddenly? Kristen Holmes reports.
The issue revolves around Canada's decision to implement a digital tax on American companies starting in June. This tax has the potential to cost U.S. companies billions in retroactive fees, and it appears to have caught the president's attention only recently. President Trump made it clear in a social media post that Canada's decision was a blatant attack on the U.S. and announced that negotiations would be put on hold until Canada addresses the issue. This is a significant shift from just a week and a half ago, when President Trump appeared to be on amicable terms with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the G7 summit. Their trade differences seemed manageable at the time, but now President Trump has taken a much firmer stance.
Conclusion: President Trump's decision to suspend trade talks over Canada's digital services tax represents a sudden and sharp shift in his approach to international relations. With the threat of new tariffs, it remains to be seen how both countries will respond to this escalation. InsightWire News, thanks for joining us today. If you find this video insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe to InsightWire News for more updates on the latest political and economic news. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more in-depth coverage. See you in the next video.